peace, goodwill, tidings of comfort and joy. Don't you believe too much of it. Little baby Jesus, 3 wise men, and follow that star. That's the true meaning of Christmas, right? Or maybe it's festive jumpers, panic-driven spending sprees, drinking too much and having an almighty row before the Queen's speech. Or perhaps Christmas is none of those things. After all, the celebration does have its roots in distant pre-Christian times, and many of the traditions we hold dear today have darker and more sinister origins. And that's what we will be discussing on this episode: the dark history of Christmas traditions. Hello, horror tailheads. This is your host, Jesus Torres, and I'm here to tell y'all and to discuss, you guessed it, the dark history of Christmas and its traditions. You know, this is something that I've always been fascinated by, and growing up as a kid, you know, obviously believing in Santa and doing the Christmas tradition, you know, what is known to be done here in the United States for the most part, which is I don't want to get controversial. I don't want to push anybody's buttons. I don't want anybody to think that with me telling this story or these stories, these notes I've taken, and what I have put together, what research I've done on my own, I don't want people to think that I don't believe in Christmas, or that I don't believe, obviously, in Jesus Christ, because I'm a Christian myself, but this is just me, my opinion. I don't know what happened way back when, you know, so this is just what I picked up. This is what I think is most accurate. Me being a believer, but again, a non-believer, I don't believe Jesus Christ was born December 25th. I don't. There, I said it. I don't. And there's just so much, and we'll get further into it, and we might not even cover all of it on this episode with the notes I've taken. There's gonna be another Christmas segment I'll be doing, hopefully on the day of Christmas or before, or we'll see. But right now, let's get cracking, and let me tell y'all that how it's been like with Christmas wise. And I do want to say, I hope everybody's been doing well. I hope everybody's gotten their shopping out of the way, or really getting it done. And you know, let me know how y'all are celebrating, not just Christmas, any celebration, Kwanzaa, you know, Hanukkah, anything you'll tend to celebrate, how y'all celebrate. I'm curious to know. Email me, let me know in the comments down below, and let's get cracking. Let's get to it. So people have been marking the midwinter for far longer than the 2,000 odd years since the birth of Christ. And, again, even that's in doubt though. It was only in the year 340 AD that Pope Julius I fixed the date of Jesus' birthday at 25 December. Okay? Prior to that, it was marked on at least 3 different other dates. Listen to these dates. 29th of March, 6th of January, and sometime in June, which historians today think is most likely given that the nativity is meant to have occurred during a census taking. It was 250 years later that Julius' successor, a few times removed, Pope Gregory, gave the job to St. Augustine of converting the heathen Brits to Christianity. Fortunately, with the birth of Christ, now established as 25th of December, it gave Augustine a bit of leverage with the population, who were already marking several midwinter festivals, ensuring they could take this newfangled religion on board without losing the annual December piss-up. Because the idea of getting blind drunk at Christmas isn't something invented by the Pogus and your dad. There were 2 major pre-Christian festivals of note, which roughly coincided with Christmas. The Roman Bacchanalia, or Saturnalia, and the Yule Fest of the Norse countries. And I'm going to explain some of this Saturnalia. It began on the 19th of December and lasted for the best part of a week, which sounds about right for those currently enmeshed in the Christmas party rush. Morality and restraint were politely shown the back door. Schools were closed, no criminals were punished. Slaves were allowed to swap places with their masters, and one was elected king for the duration of the festival. The wealthy distributed gifts to the poor. Okay? The Roman god Saturn, in whose honor the festival was staged, was no benign Christ figure or benevolent Santa. Even though his party was eventually observed into Christmas, ancient astrologers thought being born under the sign of Saturn was bad news. As the god of the harvest, he wielded a vicious scythe and devoured his own children. Well, they do say we eat a lot more at Christmas. That's just how these people, the Romans, perceived the god of Saturn as somebody evil in a sense. And of course, not many of us celebrate the Saturnalia still today, but vestiges of these old traditions and festivals still remain, and you'll probably have some dotted around your house right now. Take the mistletoe, a parasitical plant that grows on other trees, but which was once thought to have been a fully formed tree in its own right, and which provided the wood from which Christ's cross was made. Going back further, Norse mythology tells us of the god Balder, who was killed by an arrow made of mistletoe. But we mostly associate the plant with the ancient druids of Old England, who legend says valued it so much they would cut it from the oak trees it grew with a golden sickle and catch it in a cloak or robe before it hit the ground, for if it did, it would lose its special powers. The druids were rumored to use in medicine and rituals. Now, This is a lot of mythology, the Norse rituals, traditions. This is way back when. People were obviously bored. They had nothing else to do, so this is what they would do. Celebrations. There was no technology, there was no cars to just drive around, So this is fascinating. This is good that they did that. It was way back when. Obviously, we have to adjust as time went on. And now this is how we celebrate our traditions, which will seem weird maybe in 100 years from now. So just bear with me. And so the Druids, they use medicine and rituals. So this could be a good thing to recount as a distraction technique. If Derek from accounts tries to trap you under the mistletoe at the office party this week. It used to be said that mistletoe was banned in churches because of its pagan associations. Though York Minster, which itself has ancient links to the Vikings, used to hold a special mistletoe service where the city's wrongdoers could beg the pardon of the church. From mistletoe to the holly and the ivy to Christmas staples. But be careful with them, for they reek of danger. And I'm not just talking about pricking your finger. According to old customs, holly should never be brought into your house before Christmas Eve or bad luck will result. And y'all know that your Christmas decorations should be taken down by the 12th night or on the 6th of January, one of Christ's early birthdays, remember. But Old English tradition says you shouldn't just throw Christmas greenery out the door, or a death will occur in the house before the following Yuletide. The customs were writ before the advent of the recycling willy bin, of course, so you might be able to circumvent them in that way. But perhaps a safer bet is to store holly and ivy in the house until next year. Apparently, this is a surefire way of preventing a lightning strike on your home. Perhaps you could save a sprig of holly to stick on top of the Christmas pudding, like what you see on Christmas cards, but never actually in real life. But while you're doing that, remember that the making of the Christmas pudding is steeped in folklore as well. It was once thought to be lucky to partake in the act of making the pudding, especially if the pudding was stirred east to west. Why, you'll ask? Well, latterly, because the three wise men traveled in that direction to pay homage to the Christ child. But in days far before that, because that was the trajectory of the sun god, a deity whose birthday was celebrated on the 25th of December. So far, you've done everything right to ensure a trouble-free Christmas. I'm assuming. Just Christmas Eve and the big day to get you through, and you're home and dry. Might be worth firing up a Yule log, burned according to the ancient traditions of tree worship. Though, as ever, take care. Should the blazing log cast shadows which appear to be headless, then you can guarantee you'll see a death over the coming year. And Christmas Eve is traditionally a time for restless spirits to walk the earth. Something old Ebenezer Scrooge and Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol knows only too well. Should you be brave enough, legend has it, if you venture into a graveyard on Christmas Eve and dig a hole, then you'll find gold. But be careful getting there. On that night, cattle are said to kneel down and speak in human voices, and those leaving church on Christmas Eve while the consecration is still going on are bang on guaranteed to witness a procession of ghosts wending their way through the streets. And speaking of supernatural beings abroad on Christmas Eve, well, what about the big man himself? Father Christmas, Santa, Saint Nick, however y'all call him, Sandy Claus from The Nightmare Before Christmas. So why do we hang a stocking out for him? I actually have 3 right now. My fireplace. Not sure what all that is about, but they sure look pretty neat. Just hanging there. Because according to legend, though, Saint Nicholas heard about 3 sisters who were forced into a life of prostitution to earn enough money to eat. So he tossed 3 coins down their chimney to help them out, which landed in the girls' stockings, drying on the herb. But this isn't why I have 3 stockings. Like, before I even read this, before I even started taking notes, before I even knew about this, I had my 3 stockings up like a little after Thanksgiving. So this is just so coincidental. But it's cool. I think it's cool. I'm always gonna start doing that now, from now on. Just 3 stockings. That's awesome. Let me know how many stockings y'all have up. It's usually 1 per person. It's just me and my son at home. I have 3. They look neat. I have 1 for him, but it's hanging on his Christmas tree. It's a Paw Patrol one, and these other 3 are just random decorated ones. But they look neat. So Father Christmas, as a jolly old man with a white beard, was indeed thought to be based on Saint Nicholas, who can be traced back to Asia Minor in about 350 AD. And this is around the time Pope Julius was fixing the date of Jesus' birth. And somewhere along the way, he got matched up with other folklore characters, including Kris Kringle from 19th century German tradition. The magazine Harper's Weekly published what's thought to be the first illustration depicting modern Santa in the 1860s. Though he originally wore green robes and had associations with the Green Man of legend, who ruled the woods and forests in pagan belief. It's often said, though, that Coca-Cola invented the Santa we know and love today, swapping his traditional green livery for the red of Coke's branding. But, though, the company did debut ads featuring Father Christmas enjoying a Coke and a smile, and this was back in 1931. He had been seen in his more familiar red once or twice before then. And this is my favorite. We're getting to the dark part, and I will be talking about this, and I'm referring this, it's Krampus. I will be talking more about Krampus even after Christmas. I will be also doing a New Year's podcast and why it's celebrated, why we do it, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people know why. But a lot of religions do it differently, a lot of countries, and it's just so fascinating. All this cultural stuff. I grew up diverse as a childhood. My childhood, I grew up with a bunch of people, kids in my class from Asia, Africa. So it's just always been so fascinating to me, not just those countries, but Jamaica, Central America, South America. And it's just fascinating how people celebrate different holidays and what it means to them. So let's get to the dark side. Of course there had to be one for Father Christmas, and as you might expect, and that would be, again, like I mentioned, Krampus, who's variously Santa's little evil helper or his ancient enemy, Whereas Santa rewards good children, Krampus plays the bad cop to the big red guy's good cop and punishes the bad kids, especially in areas of Eastern Europe. There's a tradition in Spain that they do something similar. I saw a whole documentary about the way they celebrate Christmas in Spain, and it's very fascinating. Also in Holland, they celebrate. They have a big Krampus festivity, which I'll be mashing into one episode. Hopefully, I can do it before Christmas and get it uploaded, and y'all can take a good listen to that. I will be doing an episode over Krampus specifically, and getting more details on Christmas and why it's so dark. But not to discourage anybody from stopping the celebrations with the lights. I love that. I love the decorations. I love the meaning behind it, the giving, and that's what it's about. That's what it's about. It's about giving, and loving, and just rejoicing. But still, we've always got the Christmas tree, like I said, the decorations, the lights, right? Nothing sinister about that. After all, we didn't really have them over here until Queen Victoria and Prince Albert popularized them back in 1840. Or perhaps we can bring the ancient mythology story of the goddess Cybele and the mortal Attis into this. Cybele desired Attis, as the gods often did, regardless of the mortal's wishes, but Attis had set his cap at the daughter of a local king. Rather displeased, Cybele sent Attis mad, and he ran in a crazy rage through the mountains, eventually for reasons best known to himself, castrating himself at the foot of a pine tree. Which is perhaps something to think about when you're hanging the baubles on your Nordman fur this week. And that's gonna do it for this episode. I will be covering a lot more, and hopefully I can do the light side of Christmas, not just the dark. Which there's always darkness hidden behind everything that's light. Just think about it. But I'm not here to discourage anybody or make anybody think less of Christmas. There's more. Christmas should be celebrated. Again, like I said, it's about giving. It's the season of giving, of being there for one another. But let's not just have it be Christmas that we act that way towards others. Why can't we do that all year round? Why propose something for the new year? Why not just do it? Just do it. Not just because it's a new year, You're gonna propose yourself to be more fit, to eat more healthier. Just do it, regardless whether you're in the middle of the year or the end of the year. Do it. Be more giving, not just to others, but to yourself, and you'll see change. We all have a dark side, yes. But sometimes that dark side brings in the light, and this is what Christmas did. That darkness, people just wanted to see light in it. And that was their way to cope with all the darkness they were going through, all the evil things they experienced, the plagues, the wars, the mass murders. Just people were bored. I hope you'll have happy holidays and y'all stay safe out there. Stay safe, be blessed. Let me know what y'all thought about this. Again, subscribe, like, comment, email me, dislike it. Let me know your opinion behind Christmas and what it means to you. Peace.